Welcome to it, sports fans. Episode 33 from the bleachers, FTB TV with me, MKT, the People's Champ. And we are doing our first question and answers tonight. So you're gonna have to bear with me. I have to figure this thing out. FTB TV, of course, from the bleachers. Catch us Facebook, YouTube. We're all across the board. Look in the description. I'll leave it all in the description. I don't want to bore you with where to subscribe. But remember, we are all video all the time now, so YouTube will be the main source, and then of course it'll all live here on Facebook. But all of that you can find in the link in the description once I've finished up the video. So welcome to it. We're going to be talking about Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. Of course, he is officially Man United's manager. So you're going to have to bear with me while I learn how to share all of this. So questions and answers, I'm going to be taking all of your questions throughout the show. So now you just get to watch me be on my laptop and see exactly what the deal is here. But of course, huge news coming out of Manchester. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is the guy now. So how do we do this? Cool, so we are live, which is great to see. Always nice to see an average face. And we're going to be going live. Of course, we're going to talk a little bit of rugby as well. So send me all your questions while I'm waiting to populate the page. What I'll do is I'll share this across the board. And then I'll wait for questions to come in and we'll get going. So there'll probably be like 2 people. Because everybody knows. Oh, by the way, I'm rocking my classic Randburg shirt. Rocking their classic Randburg shirt and keen to get going here. So I'll wait for a few questions and then we will get going. Football, rugby, cricket. We're going to talk a little bit of Dwayne Vermeulen. I spoke about that in the week. Should he be dropped? Should T20 cricket internationals be stopped? Is T20 even worth it being there? So all of these questions, keep them coming. And I am going to share this and make it available. And we are a go. So I'm learning on the go here. And as the questions roll in, I will make sure to answer them. But I think the big one from today, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, wow, he got the job. I've been saying all along, don't give him the job. And it seems they have given him the job. That's the opposite of what I was saying. But there you go, folks. There you go. Ole has got the job. Some Man United fans happy, some not. And I can get it. I mean, that is what it is. So I'll wait for a few people. I really just, I don't want to give too much of my opinion before we've sort of populated it. So I'll just wait for like a question or two and then we'll get going. And then, of course, cricket. There's the rugby as well coming up this weekend, Super Rugby. We're back to that. I'm happy to take questions for anybody who wants to talk rugby. So I'm figuring this thing out on the fly. I think I kind of got it. Easy peasy lemon squeezy, as they say. Alrighty. Cool. So we are a go. Any questions that come in, I will just obviously field all of those. Whoa, it's no good hearing myself. All right, there we go. There you have it. So I've got the screen and I'm good to take any questions. So what you can do is you can comment. If I've shared this to my personal page and you're watching it there, you've got to come to the other page. So from the Bleachers TV page, come across to that, and then ask your questions. Go ahead, and we'll be talking Premier League football. In fact, anything. Is Harry Kane world class? That's another subject I'd love to get into. I'd like to hear what people think. Yesterday I said I think they should sell Harry Kane. I think you've seen the best of him in a Spurs shirt, so it's going to make no difference. It really doesn't, because everybody's saying, yeah, without his goals they wouldn't do it. They didn't have his goals, and they had Bale, and Bale only scored 21, right? Still came 5th. So they'll be 5th. They'll be 3rd to 5th. I think the problem for Spurs is they need a little bit more depth. I think we all know that. They need a bit more depth. So what I'd do is I would take all the money. I'd say Real Madrid, give me 180, 200. They'll be willing to do business. I mean, Coutinho went for 160, for goodness sake. If you can get that for Coutinho, you can certainly get 180, 200 for Harry Kane. And then you're probably looking, I think they need a keeper. I don't love Lloris. I think they're going to need to replace Vertonghen, who will go. I think in Sanchez, they found a good one to partner Vertonghen. Alderweireld will go. Vertonghen will stay. And I think that Sanchez is fantastic. He's young. He's got athleticism. He probably needs to cut out the mistakes. But young defenders will do this. But he is a beast. So you put him and Vertonghen in Trippier. They've got a great right back. I think he might be better than Walker, actually, because he can actually defend. But we'll see. So let me see if we've got any questions going here. So I'm figuring this bad boy out. Okay, well, I'll just keep talking till hopefully some questions come in. Let us see here. Boom, boom. So yeah, I think Spurs should definitely get rid of him and spend the money to improve the squad. Really, that's what I think they should be doing. So let's try and populate this page here. Bup, bup, bup. See how we go here. It's all coming together, folks. It is all coming together. I'll eventually figure it out. But I'm going to keep talking anyway. So yeah, Spurs, I think they should let Harry Kane go. So I'd like to hear what people say. For me, take the money and run. If I was Spurs, I would take the money and I would run. And I would run fast. Because I don't think they're going to be able to get that money in 2 seasons. Problem, Harry Kane always injured. And a lot of people say, what about the goals? Well, I'll tell you what about the goals is there hasn't been a team that's had the top goal scorer and win the league since 2013. So that's Robin Van Persie at Man United way back when. Fergie's last title, that was the last time the top goal scorer was in the team that won the trophy. Now, I'm not saying that you don't need a fast attack or you don't need a goal-scoring attack. Of course you need goals. But we know now in modern-day football, it's all about the wingers. It's not about the striker. Harry Kane is, if not a dead, he's a dying breed. I mean, even Luis Suarez, he's not your classic number 9. So I think you've got to be really, really careful there. And let's see what we are doing here. So still trying to populate this. Have a look-see here. Folks, we're learning on the go here. It's going to be great. But what I'm going to do every single Thursday, it'll be the questions show. So we'll try and get that going. This will be the first one. But I think the news of the day, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is the full-time manager. I've been saying the whole time, don't give him the job. Man United have trapped themselves now because now they have to stick with him. They have no choice but to stick with him no matter how it goes, folks. No matter how this thing turns out, they are going to have to stick with him. So I've seen this movie before. I said it before. Roberto Di Matteo. It happened with him. And Di Matteo won the Champions League. I'll let that sink in. What has Ollie done to earn the job? Because I keep hearing he's turned the club around. It's been a miracle, 14 and 16. But in reality, would Mourinho not have come 6th? Because I think United are still going to come 6th. Why not wait until the end of the year if you're United? Makes no sense to me. Why not wait until the end of the year? Makes no sense to me. But anyway, let's see if we've got some questions. Anywho, so if I'm Man United, you know what I do? Is I say, okay, you're going to do this thing until the end of the year, and then we'll review it. I don't know why they've pulled the trigger so early. And what I fear, if I'm a Man United fan, is that the players have put pressure on the board. Now, if you're adjusting your tactics, your strategy as a club to how the players are feeling, that's a problem. Because what happens when they move off this manager? Because remember, United have moved off, this is the fourth manager now they're on to after Fergie. LVG, or David Moyes, LVG, Jose Mourinho. And those are three proper managers. This guy's wet behind the, Ollie's wet behind the ears, and I'm being kind. He's wet behind the ears and I'm being kind. I'm being super kind. So why rush the decision? That's what I don't get. Makes no sense. Makes absolutely zero sense. See if I can figure this thing out here. Remember, Thursdays from now on, question show. So it'll be a lot of me typing and doing things like this. A lot of clicking. So once again, spoke about the rugby yesterday. Dwayne Vermeulen, should he be dropped? Of course, he had that unsavory picture with the classic. You know, I had a phone call this morning with a friend of mine who obviously saw what I had to say yesterday. And everybody thinks I want to control who he's friends with. I don't care if he's friends with Steve Hofmeyr. It means nothing to me. I don't know Steve Hofmeyr. Whatever. You know? I'd actually like to probably interview Steve Hofmeyr at some stage. My issue is not that. It's the fact that Dwayne Vermeulen, we've been told this whole time, he's coming back for the experience. He's got all this experience, apparently. So that leads me to think you want him to be one of the leaders. And if he's a leader, that's not what a leader does. Leaders don't behave like that. Right? Guys, if he's a leader, he doesn't behave like that. My problem with Dwayne Vermeulen was, it's not the fact that he's friends with Steve Hofmeyr. That's cool. Nobody should be told who to be friends with. It's the fact that he's gone and taken a decision, a considered decision, because to put something on Instagram, you have to take the photo. There's like an option to do a filter or whatever. Are you happy with this photo? Then you go to another step, and then you still have to do like the status or whatever caption you're going to do. So there's 3 steps for him to have gone, oh, you know what? The optics of this aren't going to look great considering I'm in a multi-ethnic sports team. And whether Steve Hofmeyr said the stuff he said or not is not the point. The point is, what does it look like? Because if you're one of the leaders, you've got to think beyond yourself. You don't get to just do what you want. And I said it yesterday, to whom much is given, much is expected. To whom much is given, much is expected. So when you're one of the leaders, you've got to do more. You've got to think bigger than just what you want to do. And it's all good that he's hanging out with Steve Hofmeyr. That's awesome. If they're buddies, hey, we are not in a fascist country. Nobody must be told who to hang out with. And ideally, in the ideal world, you shouldn't really be telling people what to say. Democracy is a messy business. But when you're one of the leaders and you're also not one of the best players, listen, I said it yesterday. It's called production intolerance, all right? I can't tolerate more than you produce. One of the things in sport is, and we see it all the time. A good example, somebody I love, and I hope to have him on the show sometime, Herschel Gibbs. You know why we tolerated so much with Herschel Gibbs? I'll give you an example of why Dwayne Vermeulen, for me, shouldn't go to the World Cup and ideally should have his contract cancelled. But Herschel Gibbs' talent, so his production, was so high, it means that I'll tolerate that much, right? So your production and tolerance needs to be equal. They've got to be up here. Once I have to tolerate more than you're producing, then we have a problem. Then we have a serious problem, guys. Then we have a serious problem. So for me, a guy like Dwayne Vermeulen, he's not the best. He's not even the 3rd best. I've got the Dupree brothers. I've got Whiteley coming back. I've got Noche now, who's come back a beast. Noche has come back a beast. So what do I do about that? And then now I need to go and tolerate, because it's a PR shambles. The majority of this country wants him gone, and one of the things we need is the fans behind the Springboks. That's why Dwayne Vermeulen's got to go. Because all I was told was it's leadership. No, folks. You know what I look for in my leaders? In fact, there's only one thing I need in my leaders. I don't need you to be Churchill and be able to rah-rah a crowd. I don't need that. I don't need you to be a diplomat, Madiba style, Nelson Mandela style. I'm not after that. I don't need you to do slimy deals. I don't need you to be Machiavellian, which some leaders do. All I ask my leadership to have is self-awareness. I don't need more than that. All I need is self-awareness from my leadership. That's it. If you're part of a leadership core in anything, business, life, if you're the head of a household, male or female, it doesn't matter to me as long as you have self-awareness. The moment Dwayne Vermeulen took that photo, put it on Instagram, shared it, what it showed me is he doesn't get his context. Now, if that happens in England, Australia, that's cool. Not here. It's not going to work. It's not going to work because, like it or not, the guy's going to have to share a dressing room with black players. And now, you know, I said it yesterday. Rugby is not like football or cricket or, you know, and those are sports that I love and played throughout my childhood. The last thing I want is somebody not being there for Dwayne. And the thing about rugby is you get hurt. So if your teammate's not there to protect you, mauling, you know, defense, not there for the double hit, you get exposed and people can get hurt. You know, people can get hurt. And if people aren't there with Dwayne on board, I don't care how professional you are, some people might be triggered by this photo. So my man's got to go. For me, Dwayne Vermeulen, you are out, mate. He's got to go. And also the cricket. So I've been speaking about a bit T20. So this might be a recap show because I haven't really figured this question things out. So if you are, hey, Mr. Dooley, I see you there. So I need to see, is it just a comments thing? Let's have a look here. Okay, so the questions will just come up. Great, good to know. T20 cricket. So I don't have a problem with T20 cricket, obviously from the financial side. I understand the ICC have to pay their bills. Dave Richardson, it's a shambles. He sold cricket to Australia, India, and England. So Test cricket's a shambles. And they try to do like the World Series kind of thing in Test cricket. If you saw the World Championship thing, didn't work because they weren't committed. And what we call in the modern society, they got disrupted because IPL came out of nowhere. Because you know, ageism is this thing. So sometimes I don't think it's the age of the people in charge. It's, are you in touch? I just don't think the ICC are in touch. Right? They've done a horror show job. Because what's happened is T20 is now the most important thing in cricket. And that doesn't work. And I'll tell you why. Because casual fans don't stay. I don't care what you're in. I don't care what sport you're in. Short term, yeah. No, it's great. The financial injection's great. But if you let Test cricket recede to a point where there isn't the core anymore, listen, casual fans, the next thing, there's some guy, is it Ed Sheeran? I'm not into pop music. Apparently some guy, Ed Sheeran's in town. They'd rather do that. And that's coming soon, by the way. As the world has more options, remember now you're competing with other sports as well. The Premier League tours around the world. So now, if you let the Test cricket fans fade away and you ignore them, because they'll come and watch any cricket. But there's no skill in T20 cricket. Maybe I'm just getting old, but there's no skill. I'm a Test guy. My problem with T20 cricket at the international level, that's where it lies, right? At the international level is the point of sport is it's supposed to be the best version. So there shouldn't be a higher level, both in individuals and a collection of individuals, thus a team. There shouldn't be a higher level than international. That should be the best guys in the world. It should be the best competition. But T20 international cricket is not the best cricket. I know that because I've seen the IPL teams. They're better than any international team. No international team is beating 2/3 of their IPL teams. Simple. Like, if I can gather AB de Villiers, let's say back in the day, I could gather AB de Villiers, Sachin Tendulkar, Virender Sehwag, and have Brett Lee bowling, and then maybe have, I don't know, Tilakaratne, Dilshan, all in the same team. And then have Gilchrist as my keeper. How are you beating that? You can't beat that. So my problem is this. International T20 is meaningless because it's not the best teams. Right? At least in 50-over cricket, there isn't another tournament where I can be like, oh, that's a better level than the highest level, which is supposed to be international cricket. Right? So cancel T20 cricket at the international level and just have the domestic stuff, because that's a better level. What you're doing is you're cheating the fans, because you don't charge them less for international T20 cricket. I checked the ticket prices. It is no difference than the Mzansi League, right? And the Mzansi League is a better level than international T20 cricket. So just cancel T20s. Simple as that. That's it. Just cancel international T20s. It's not that hard. It's not that hard at all. Well, I figured this thing out now. So maybe what I need to do is let people know next time that we're going to be doing a Q&A. But at least I figured it out. And it's quite easy, actually. I didn't know how it worked. I did some research, and it's as easy as advertised. So what I'll do is I'll hang around for another 5 minutes. If there is any questions, then you can just post them in the comments, and I'll take questions. But anyway, every single Thursday show will just be questions. So I'm not going to do a full show on Thursdays, but tomorrow I will be back. Those of you who've been kind of following the podcast, we've moved to full video now. Everything will be, so go and subscribe to the YouTube channel, because that's where most of the content will be. But Fridays, folks, I'm bringing something back, which I love doing. What I'm going to do is I'm going to rehash all of the old ones I've done. So I'll start with my 5 best strikers that have ever played in the Premier League. I'll do that tomorrow. So join me tomorrow from about 8 o'clock onwards, and I'll give you the 5 greatest strikers to ever play, in my opinion, in the Premier League. We'll discuss the Ole Gunnar Solskjaer appointment. We'll do the 5 best strikers that have ever been. And I'll do that every Friday. It's called the Friday 5. So the hashtag for that will be hashtag Friday 5. And from tomorrow, we'll be doing it every Friday. Hashtag Friday 5. So 5 best strikers to ever play in the English Premier League. If you've heard it on the podcast, no worries. Now you're going to get to see it, in video. So today my plan was to take questions vis-a-vis T20 cricket, right? I wanted to talk about Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. I mean, the Ole Gunnar Solskjaer situation. I'll give my opinion tomorrow. Would have loved to take some questions. But I don't think enough people knew, and apparently people don't have the event thing. So what I'll do is from now on, the Thursday show, I will make it abundantly clear that it is the Q&A show. So I've kind of given you a little bit of what this show is meant to be, and I'm glad we did it this way. So what I'll do is I'll hang out a little bit, 2 more minutes. If there's no questions, no worries. Then next week will be the official first Q&A show. And we spoke a little bit about Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, but I'll speak about that tomorrow. I'll give you my full opinion, exactly what I think. So he's got himself a 3-year deal, 7 million a year. And it's off the back of 14 unbeaten in 19, right? That's draws and victories. So he's got himself the job, £7 million a year. And the reports are they're going to spend over 200 million. I think they're going to have to get rid of a few because United need a few. But I'm going to give you my full opinion tomorrow. I didn't want to get into it tonight. I was hoping to answer a few questions. But no worries. Doesn't look like tonight will be question time, which is all good. It is all good. Let's have a look-see here. Well, at least I figured it out, and that's a positive. So I figured out the questions, how it'll be posted. So from now on, Thursday's show, just to be clear, it'll all be question time. And then this weekend, of course, the rugby. Maybe get into that a little bit. Oh, all right. So there we go. There's a great question. Tendi, what's happening, brother? Can Juventus finally win the Champions League? And this is a good question. I actually spoke to somebody earlier about it, and I said no chance. Defense too old. So I'll tell you why I don't like them. Don't like the keeper. I think one of the things that I've always believed is if your keeper, right? Number one, your keeper, it's your spine. All right? Don't love the keeper. Chiellini is not what he was. I think we saw that in the first game of the last 16 that they lost to Atletico. Chiellini is not what he was. And I know Italian defenders can play well into their 30s, but he's not the guy anymore. Griezmann gave him the runaround. And I don't love the keeper. I don't think Szczesny is the guy. They were really, really spoiled with Buffon for that long. And I think you've got Pjanic, but I don't love Matuidi. Matuidi is like a poor man's Conte, and I just don't think he's it. And then I think the problem with them is that, do you know what it is? I think Mandzukic is actually their best striker. But when you've got Ronaldo, what do? I mean, you saw how he brought them back with that hat-trick. So no chance. No chance. Juventus finally win the Champions League, no go. I say no go because you need your spine to be strong. And who's their centre mids? Pjanic. You know, I think what's happened with the Ronaldo coming in is what you really want is Mandzukic up front, right? Well, that's what you really, really want because he's their best genuine number 9. He gives them the best shape up front. But it's Ronaldo time. That's a fair point. Tendi says, what else can they win? What else can they do? Because this is all they've been trying to win. I think this is it, man. Besides spend more money, I guess I think it's the end of the cycle. I don't see. I know Tendi very well, and he is a Juventus fan, so I think he was hoping I'd say yes. I think you're also not getting the best Ronaldo, as good as he is. He's not that guy. I mean, Ronaldo, 4 years ago is a different animal. So I don't know if he can pull them through. I think. What I do think, though, is I think they'll get to the final. I think they're the best. They're the second best team left because they've got, for me, they've got the second best manager in world football. And by that, I just mean he's the second best coach because I think Pep's on another level. Pep is everything, you know. He's a man manager, so he's a motivator. He clearly gets people to play for him. But he's actually a tactical genius. And I think Massimo Allegri is the poor man's Pep Guardiola. So I think that helps Tendi, but I just think, what did Jose say a few years ago? No eggs, no omelette. Or the quality of the eggs determine the quality of the omelette. Don't love the Juventus quality. Outside of Ronaldo and Dybala, I don't love it. I like Pjanic, but I don't know. Oh, who will win? No, that's easy. Oh, that's not a trick question. Listen, Leo Messi's back to his best, folks. If you haven't been watching La Liga, he's the one guy. Leo Messi is the one guy in world football where when he's on, that's all she wrote. No, Barcelona win it easily. Seriously, I think they might give United 4 in the first game. And people think I hate United. I don't. I'm actually down the middle. I think Barcelona win the Champions League quite easily. Quite easily. I think there's no one who can stop them. If anybody's going to stop them, it's Juventus. But I'm afraid Messi's back to his best, and we've all seen how that goes. We've all seen how that goes. So one thing why Tendi, I think a big thing that I don't think people take into consideration is your goalkeeper's got to be A grade, and Szczesny's B grade at best. At best. He might even be C grade. He's he's decent and I'm being kind. So I think Barcelona win it easily. I think Barcelona win it easily. No English team will get to the final. You got to have pedigree, and I think City. I don't know if people are. Is anybody saying City? Because they're not doing the quadruple. So Barcelona quite easily. Because Leo Messi is an animal, and he's back. Champions League. That's a good one. See if we can get some more Champions League questions. But happy to take Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. Any questions on that? Happy to take any questions on that. Once again, Dwayne Vermeulen, happy to take questions on whether I think he should be in the squad after his recent PR disaster. T20 cricket, should T20 cricket at international level exist? Happy to take questions there. But mostly, I think the news of the day, guys, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, my God, 3-year deal. Love to know, any Man United fans out there, I'd love to know what you think. Is it a great call? Has he galvanized the players? Should Man United keep Pogba? Is Pogba the future of United? Is Ole Gunnar Solskjaer the future of United? I think these are all these questions. Also, I'm happy to chat about other clubs as well. So this isn't just about Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. Happy to chat about all of those things. So if you're an Arsenal fan, more than happy to take Arsenal questions. I said yesterday, I think Unai Emery will win. No matter what happens, Unai Emery should be the manager of the year. What should FIFA do? Oh, that's a spicy one. I like that, and I'll definitely take that one. What should FIFA do about racism after the Montenegro incident? So this is a deep one, okay? I mean, I have my answer, and I've always had my answer to this one, is unfortunately, right, it's not profitable to do something about it. And whether we like it or not, and naturally the bias as a black man, I'll always be biased to do something about it, but I gave up when Samuel Eto'o had bananas thrown at him. I mean, I've lived in the Eastern Bloc, so I lived in Russia for a bit, so I know what that can be like firsthand, by the way. So I've experienced it. I shouldn't say Eastern Bloc anymore. Jeez, how old am I? But lived in Russia for a bit, so I know what that's like firsthand. Tendy, I think, if they're serious, which they aren't, because we know FIFA it doesn't work, because the demographics don't dictate it. If that happened in Africa, we would deal with it because it would be affecting black people. I just think because of the location, it doesn't affect the white guys. So the will to do it is probably lower. It's like, well, what about the profit? So I think what they should do, if they're serious, the only way to show me you're serious, because this isn't like okay, let's wait for society to move forward type of issue in my eyes, right? Is you have to ban them for Euros and you ban them for the World Cup for one cycle. So that's, you're out, for me, you got to be out for the next World Cup and you have to be out for the next Euros after that, right? So you don't get any money from the qualification, you don't get to be, so what it does, because it's all about money. That's what FIFA are telling me, right? Whether you like it or not, folks, it's all about money. So what FIFA are telling me is it's all about money. I say, great. So then punish, and I don't mean, what did they give them a fine? 50,000 euros. Come on. Come on, people. Guys are making 300,000 pounds a week. Goran Pandev can pay that, out of his back pocket, 50,000 euros or 100,000 euros, or even 400,000 euros. For footballers, that's joke money. That's a joke. The players can pay that out their pocket. The FA don't even need to waste their time. So I think if they're serious, you should ban them for the next Euro cycle and the next World Cup cycle. I'd even like 2 World Cups, because then it's 8 years and you're out, right? You're exiled. So I'd like, for me, if they're serious, but FIFA's shown me they're not serious. They've got bigger issues, and like racism's not a big thing for them because the guys in charge are 60-year-old white guys. Why would they care? So, you know, not the most difficult solution. They have banned before, but they seem to do it when they please. They don't lose anything from Montenegro not being in the Euros. It would be different if it was Spain or something. Well, I agree. So it would be, but even Spain should be banned. and I see what you're saying, that that's like a football powerhouse, and then there's economic. There's no will. The problem is there's no will. And also, remember, this is for all those people who keep saying keep politics out of sport. It's a favorite thing in South Africa. Politics is everywhere, people. Politics is everywhere. And I would guess, I mean, I've tried to have a look, but I would guess it's illegal without due process, you know, and then people can argue you can't punish a whole country for the actions of 5,000 people. And that can get messy for FIFA, you know, because then that opens Pandora's box as to, you know, because that's why we have law, right? You can't just put people in exile. So for me, I would say Montenegro, it's a problem, and they're now would be considered a part of the EU, you know. So it goes beyond the football field, I think, is why they can't just say, you're out. Because then it has to go to the International Court of Arbitration. I imagine that's where they'd have to take it, and then it becomes a problem. So it makes no sense to me. It's like it should be such an easy solution. But once again, most importantly, there's no will. There's no will. Nobody wants to do anything about it. Because like I say, think of it this way. If the 10 most powerful people in football were 45 to 55-year-old black men, we wouldn't have this anymore. We wouldn't have this problem. Because there'd be a will to do it. So there's no will for it to end, because it's, I guess the societal comparison would be something like, why are women's rights not taken more seriously, to be honest, right? And I'm not a PC guy. I hate sort of PC language, restrictive language, but there's a reason why women's rights are still actually way behind. It's because most of the legislation is written by middle-aged men. So the will isn't as great as though if you'd put, trust me, if we had, you know, as, let's say, of the G8, say the G8 had 5 of the 8 women, 5 of the 8 leaders were women, not just Merkel, right? You'd see issues change around female demographics, their rights, the cases coming to light, more truth coming to light on the, you know. So the demographics dictate, I'm afraid, and what are you going to do? No will. My answer to that, Tendi, is there's no will. There's no will. They don't. It's because it doesn't affect the people in charge, in power. So what do they care? So it makes me sad, but I think it's a case of that, you know. So let's see. Happy to chat rugby as well, guys. So anybody, I've just seen Jam jump on. Welcome to you, brother. Happy to chat anything rugby. So you can just put your questions. This is strictly so you'll see me looking down every now and then. I'm not doing a regular show. Thursdays will now be a question and answer show if you've just joined us. So I'm going to keep it rocking for another 15 minutes because guys arrived late. So welcome to everyone who just joined. Stratos, he says, Ollie, are you saying I'm disgraceful, or are you saying the decision to bring Ollie in is disgraceful? Would love to hear what you're saying there. Stratos. Once again, guys, happy to do rugby, cricket, any questions. Just fire away, throw any questions into the comment section, and that's where I'll be answering them from. No worries. Welcome if you're late. It's awesome that you guys joined. I didn't really let people know. I just wanted to test it out for today. I'm going to give it an extra. It was supposed to be an hour. So it's been just under 40 minutes. But I'm going to give it a... let's keep going. We'll keep going for another 15 minutes. If you have any questions, Stratos, I'd love to hear your comments. What do you feel about Ollie getting the job? Anyone else? Arsenal fans? Any rugby fans? Let's talk some rugby. Oh, man, I love that question. Why is SB Marais so shocking? He is shocking. He is terribly average. Do you know what's incredible? Is he starting? See, the cool thing about having, let's see, Stormer's starting lineup. Because he's awful, right? Like SPM, well, he's not awful. I think he's mediocre. Yeah, but I mean, come on, guys, he can't be starting, eh? That's got to be a joke. Let's have a look here. Let's have a look. I want to see if he's starting this weekend. But he's, no. That's no good, especially as a fullback. Oh my goodness. He couldn't, first of all, he couldn't catch the common cold, which is a problem in modern day rugby. Okay, so SB Marais on the bench. They've gone with Willemse, Serge Peterson, and Dylan Lates at the back. Jam, I have no answer for you. He's average. He is average. I don't know. He shouldn't be in the Stormers. I'm sure they can do better there. So Stratos is saying, not our caliber of manager. Stratos is saying, not our caliber of manager. That's Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. It's a nostalgia appointment. Yeah, look, I'm going to give my full opinion on Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, but I'd have to agree with you. I think, I don't get why they're making the call because players are happy with him. Is that how we make decisions now? Because a lot of people criticize Chelsea and Real Madrid and PSG for too much player power. Slippery slope. Listen, I said it a couple of episodes ago. Trust me, you'll hear me say it again tomorrow. I don't want to hear Man United fans telling me about the United way anymore. Because now you've bowed to the players, and now it's about player power. For me, the right move was get rid of Pogba first and then get a manager. But okay. So Stratos, who's a diehard fan, says Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is a nostalgia appointment. Stratos, who would you have preferred? I'd love to hear. Man United fans, who would you have preferred? Okay, so Jam says SPM Marais is starting tomorrow, but I'm looking at the lineup. They're saying Willemse is starting fullback, Serge Peterson at right wing, and then Dylan Lates at left. Unless I'm looking at the wrong thing. I'll post the link here. According to that link there, Jam, SPM Marais is on the bench. Anyway, what I want to do is I want to stick with the Man United thing. And if any one of the Arsenal fans is there, I would love to hear what you think of Unai Emery. I think he's the manager of the season, no matter how it ends from here. I think Unai Emery is the manager of the season. So I'd love to hear from Arsenal fans. Okay, Jam, I'm going to come back to your question. Let me finish off on the Man United thing. Stratus says, I just don't understand why we would fit the criteria of an outright, of why he would fit. I also don't. You know what, I think, let's be honest, and it's tough for people to say, Sir Alex Ferguson made a mistake with David Moyes. And you know what happened then? You know, there's a famous gambling term, right? Is you never follow bad money with more bad money. So what that means is when you lose, you try and put more money in to try and get that other money back. Don't ever make your decision like that in gambling. I don't gamble, but I've heard the saying. Don't chase bad money with more bad money. So what happened was when Fergie made that mistake with Moyes and they had to pull the plug after 6 months, what they should have done was probably let Giggs see that thing out. Maybe even give Giggs the next season while you go and find the right caliber manager. LVG was never right for United. We know that. And it was so rushed, right? Didn't it feel rushed? Like Giggs was there interim, and then it was like all of a sudden it's LVG. So I think what they've tried to do was, instead of doing it the United way of we're going to put the manager at the center of the club, like Pogba and Mourinho, that was never going to work. I know for a fact, I'm almost 99% certain, Pogba was not a Jose Mourinho purchase. So why get Mourinho then? So I think Man United are going to struggle unless they go back to the old way where the manager is the most important man at the club. And I'd love to hear what those criteria would be. Oh, so you're saying Maurizio Pochettino as number one. Now that would be interesting, because what has Poch done to be able to deserve the job? He's shown he's all right at Southampton. Harry Redknapp finished fourth with Spurs, so he hasn't done much more than that. He's collapsed twice. This is the second time they're collapsing spectacularly. So I like Maurizio Pochettino, but I think Man United should have gone hell for leather for Zinedine Zidane. And Stratos, I'm happy to come back to that. I'm going to go to Jam. For you rugby fans out there, are we still calling Pollard a world-class fly-half after the hammering they received from a rather average Chiefs side? Has anybody ever called Pollard a world-class fly-half? Seriously, has anybody ever... I've never thought of Pollard as even international class. Considering his size, he's maybe the worst tackling fly-half I've ever seen. And what I don't get is, if you think of a guy like Matt Giteau. I feel like Matt Giteau never missed a tackle. Perfect tackling technique. Pollard's like 100 kilograms. Why is he missing any tackles ever? What it tells me is badly coached, and technically he's nowhere. But as a fly-half, I'm sorry, anyone who's ever called Andre Pollard world-class needs their head examined. That's embarrassing. No, it's not world-class. Anybody who's calling him world-class, no. He's provincial class at best. He's the best of a very average lot that we've got. I think, if we're all honest, Elton Yankees is better with ball in hand. But the problem with Elton is Elton couldn't tackle a fish supper. So he's even worse. He's even worse on defense. And you can't have a terrible defender because Damien de Allende, he couldn't, yeah. I don't know. That's a great point. I think Stratos makes a great point. He says, Maurizio Pochettino, much like Fergie in the beginning, although the difference between Poch and Fergie, I always try and explain this to people. Remember, Fergie had already won in Scotland. He'd already won a European title. He'd already taken Aberdeen to a European title, which is ridiculous. He'd already taken Aberdeen, and he broke, I think it was about a 10-year dominance of Celtic and Rangers. So Fergie had already shown you that he can win. But Stratos, I think, makes a great point here as a Man United fan. He says, up in Pochettino, Stratos is talking about Pochettino. He's saying, up-and-coming manager who needed a stage such as Old Trafford to really prove himself. Yeah, okay. So he's really, yeah. Poch is really up for that big opportunity, basically. Yeah. I'd have to agree with you, Stratos. I think that's a great point. I think Poch needs to be thrown in the deep end, because what a lot of people don't understand is the expectation of Tottenham. Tottenham are delighted with top four. They are delighted with top four. At Man United, in the good old days, I mean, it's been 6 years, but think of it under Fergie. Any season without the title is a disaster at Man United. That's very different pressure, guys. That's very different pressure. And when you bring Poch into that environment and you get the type of the players who've got that mentality, then I think Poch might have a chance to prove himself, and I think that's a great point. Up-and-coming manager who needed a stage such as Old Trafford to really prove himself. That's a great, great point, and I can't disagree with you. Jam says, so we're jumping in between Pollard and Man United at the moment, folks. He's always, okay. So Pollard is always mentioned week in, week out as world-class, as a world-class fly-half by drunken pundits. They'd have to be on the devil's sauce. You'd have to be on the devil's sauce to think Andre Pollard is a world-class fly-half. I'm sorry, guys. You know, like I've told people, when you're going to get on this show, you may not like what I have to say, right? But I'm not in the business of making people happy. I'm in the business of telling the truth. I'm in the truth business, people. I'm in the truth business. Can't believe anybody would dare call Andre Pollard world class. And I don't hate Pollard, but he's mediocre. He's run of the mill. He's, you know, like a glass of room temperature milk. Nothing spectacular. He's not a pomegranate juice. He's not a high quality pomegranate juice. Oh, pomegranate. Put in the comments there, guys, what's your favorite juice? Pomegranate for me. First and foremost, rooibos, but pomegranate. Stratos, still talking about Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. Should have kept Ole till the end of the season and not watch him become the villain. I agree. Because the problem with Ole, guys, if you're a Man United fan, I've seen this movie before. And I said it before you guys came, a few guys have come late. Guys, I've seen it before. I'll tell you exactly what I'm referring to. Roberto Di Matteo. Di Matteo won the Champions League, and he was gone in less than 6 months. The problem is when you change to the mood of the players are emotional guys. Huge egos. You can't adjust, and this is all the great clubs. Well, we can go through it just now. You don't adjust to the weather of the consciousness, as they call it, or you don't adjust to the mood of the players. Guys, just because these guys are millionaires, a lot of them are still 23, 24, 25. These are immature, egotistical, highly talented individuals. They need to be managed. That's why the guy's called a manager, not their mate. The problem with Ole, and I said it here first, Stratos has mentioned it, is that, look, Ole now can't drop the hammer because he's their mate. He made them feel better. He's the guy after Mourinho. How does he drop the hammer now? Stratos says, my favorite drink is gin and juice. Okay, well, I don't do the devil's sauce, but I guess that's a good one for summer. That's a good one for summer. All right, guys, we'll do 5 more minutes. If there's anything you've got to say, any other subjects, I'd love to talk about what else is happening in World Rugby Jam. If you've got any questions, Stratos, is there anything in the Premier League? Or we had some great questions earlier about who do I think will win the Champions League? And I said Barcelona quite easily. I think United will take a bit of a spanking. But anyone who plays Barcelona, Messi's back, and that's a nightmare. It's a nightmare. Love to hear, Jam, who do you think is the best fly half in the world? Maybe we can have my opinion. NBA, I don't do NBA here, although I do love NBA. Rugby, football, cricket, that's what we are. We're anglicized here. Damn it. No NBA. I like that. It's a good try. Lonzo Ball. Good try. So maybe to finish off, I would love to hear, do people think Spurs should sell Harry Kane? What do you think? And Jam, I'd love to hear your opinion. Who is the best fly half in the world? Stratos says, I honestly think Liverpool could make their way to a Champions League. No chance. They'd have to beat City over 2 legs. They'd have to beat... They'd have to beat Barcelona over 2 legs. They'll probably get Barcelona semis, or who are they getting in the semis? I think they're getting niche. Ain't going to happen. I don't think City are going to make it to the final either. I think the 2 best teams are Juventus and Barcelona that are left. And you know why I say that? They've got the best players. You have to have the best players. Even Gordon Ramsay, if you give him rotten food, he can't make that Formula One, that Michelin meal. As Jose Mourinho famously said, no eggs, no omelette. No eggs, no omelette. Or the omelette is determined by the quality of the eggs. Liverpool have a decent chance, maybe, but I don't think so because they don't have. Who do they have? There's no quality in there. Like Salah's okay. He's already shown that the pressure of expectation has been too much for him. And I do like Sadio Mane, but he's not Cristiano Ronaldo or Leo Messi. Problem is, when those teams come against Barcelona and I have to have Jordan Henderson and Gini Wijnaldum against Sergio Busquets, against Ivan Rakitic, no, you don't want to see that. Against Pjanic, no. Great point. Anfield is built for Champions League. Look, my problem is I just see too much quality at Juventus. I see too much quality at Barcelona, and they've done it over and over, home, away. I mean, this is going to be Messi's 6th title. I think he's going to do it. It's a great point, though. Anfield is built for Champions League. That's a great point. But it's been a while now since Istanbul. And can I tell you why I don't think Liverpool are going to do it? Everybody loves Jurgen Klopp, right? Everybody loves Klopp. But he's not a winner. Remember, he's lost 2 Champions League finals now. Oh, I don't like the sound of that. I don't like the sound of that. And he often, even at Liverpool, he hasn't won anything. Lost that League Cup final, right? Lost the Champions League final. Lost the Champions League final with Dortmund. So I don't think Klopp, as much as I like him, the heavy metal stuff, is he the guy to take you over the edge? I feel like he can take you to the edge, but is he the guy to take Liverpool over the edge? I don't think so. I've said it before on the podcast. I think he's a very, very good manager. And until I can see him take it over the edge, and people always use that Dortmund, that he amassed a fantastic Dortmund side, but probably more because Bayern Munich slacked for 2 years. Not too long ago, Liverpool won the final. Yeah, I get it. But being in the final and not winning it, you might as well not be in the tournament. It's all about winning. And he's lost his last 3 big finals. That's a problem, right? So Champions League lost again, and then he lost the League Cup final with Liverpool. So it tells me Jurgen struggles to... And it's a fine line, guys. It's a fine line. That's why Mourinho is great. That's why Ancelotti is great. That's why Arrigo Sacchi is great. That's why these guys are not good, great. To win, you got to be great. That's why Pep's great. You know? That's why Fergie was great. Big game, big final. You got to get it over. Got to get it over the edge. So I don't think he's a loser, because that's not fair. He's got Bundesliga titles and he plays great football and people love him. But I think people fall in love with Jurgen Klopp's personality a bit much. When you look at the substance, other than the 2 Bundesliga titles, is he really a winner? I don't know. Gut feeling, Strato says. All right, he says Liverpool. Well, guys, that's it. I think I've just done over an hour 15, which is barely palatable. So for this week, this was a good introduction. I now know how it works. It's easy peasy lemon squeezy, as they say. So every Thursday, this will be a Q&A show. We'll talk. I'll post the subjects, but I'm happy to answer anything. And it's going to be random. Thursday's show will be an hour of just me random answering questions. Simple as that, really. Let me go through and just make sure I haven't missed any questions. Have I missed any questions? SPM Hare apparently bought his rugby talent in a lucky packet. That's fantastic. Let's make sure I haven't missed anything. I have not. Awesome, brother. Keep up the work. Thank you very much, guys. Remember, so in the description, I always put the link of our, everything will be heavily streamed to YouTube, guys. Otherwise, you can find us on iTunes as well. For those, some people prefer audio. But I mean, for the Q&A, it's always nicer to have the video and to go back and forth. So all of this will be unedited, guys. You'll get it as it's done here. It'll live on Facebook and YouTube from the Bleachers TV on YouTube. So go and subscribe and let's get those numbers up. And you'll join me next week. Tomorrow, though. Tomorrow will be an awesome show. If you haven't heard it before on my podcast, from the Bleachers TV, FTB TV, is the Friday 5. So tomorrow I will go back, a young TBT, young throwback, to my Friday 5. So the Friday 5 will be every Friday, and it'll be 5. So the top 5 list of something. I'm going to start it at the beginning where I started on the audio podcast. Tomorrow, I'll tell you the 5 greatest strikers that have ever played in the Premier League. Tomorrow, we'll talk about Ollie, we'll talk about the greatest strikers, and then we'll talk a little bit more rugby and my feeling about South African results and the coaching situation. So, Friday 5, check it out tomorrow, hashtag Friday 5. Guys, thank you so much. That it has been from the Bleachers with MKT, me, the People's Champ. For today, that is all. I will see you all tomorrow.